Hi guys. So this essay is to walk you guys through your first. This video is walking you guys through your first essay, and you guys have read in this week a number of accounts of what it means to be American in post-Civil War America. And so what you're going to do is pretty simple. You're going to choose one of the authors that you read in this unit. It has to be the author that was read and the work that we read in this unit from that author. And you're going to develop a short written analysis of the work from that author, incorporating specific contextual elements related to the life or the cultural history or the larger impact of that work. So basically, you're going to do what I do in the lectures, where I present the idea of analyzing the literature in detail, but secondarily, you look at the historical or biographical context to see how that reflected certain ideas of the time. So some questions to think about as we think about these works reflecting this new American identity. How does the author or work impact the social, political, or economic change that was happening? How does it fit or not fit with what it means to be American in this new post-Civil War world? How does the author or work shape these new American ideals? And then how do they approach the subject matter? So somebody like Zit Khalasa would approach the idea of multicultural relations different than Whitman or Booker T. Washington. How does the work achieve a particular message or goal? And then why is this important? So think about, why does it matter that we study these texts? Why does it matter that we have the voice of a female Native American author? Why does it matter that we have the voice of a freed African American slave? Why does that matter that we study this? So the most important thing, though, is to make sure that you keep the focus on the text. Make sure that you don't make this a biography or a history essay. You want to make sure that you're analyzing the literature. So you're looking at things like tone and dialogue and theme and symbolism, most importantly. And then secondarily, you're looking at why, the author's historical background or their biography or their context matters. You do need to have one research resource in your work. It has to be cited correctly and included in a bibliography. You should have a clear thesis and main ideas, and though you should use solid evidence from the text and from your research source, so quotes from your texts and from your research to support your argument. So you have to have a clear thesis. You have to use specific words, phrases from the text. You have to make this 1.5 to 2 pages in length. So you can write more than that, you just can't write less. Anything less will have points taken off from it. And it's due by Sunday, June 9th at midnight. Everything's going to be checked through SafeAssign. I'm sorry, I cut this down for you guys. Make sure that you reach the minimum page length, 1.5 pages, to the bottom or to the halfway point of that second page. You can choose from any of the authors that we read in this unit and the works that we read in this unit. So it can be Whitman, Du Bois, Washington, Chopin, or Zit Khalasa. If you do somebody like a poet, you want to make sure that you choose maybe one at most, maybe 2 poems. I wouldn't do any more than that. You want to keep the argument pretty narrow and focused. And if you're only doing 1.5 pages, that's a lot. That's a lot to try and cover more than one poem in just 1.5 pages. You're going to be assessed on making sure you have close analysis of the work and its concepts, making sure that you also secondarily look at things like historical and biographical context, solid evidence to support your claims from the primary and secondary sources. That means quotes, good use of the research source that's required, proper page length, MLA, citations, and then a fully developed essay structure. So an intro with a thesis, clear main ideas and evidence, and a solid conclusion. Some things you can look at when you're writing this essay, if you're looking at the literary elements, you can look at things like characterization. So look at, how the author presents specific archetypes or the protagonist and antagonist. Think about somebody like Kate Chopin, for example. How does she present the protagonist and antagonist? It's very unique. You can look at literary devices like metaphors, similes, personification, flashbacks, irony. Look at structure. So does it follow the dramatic arc? Is there a rising action, a climax, a denouement? And look at literary concepts like themes, symbol, motif, allusions. And then also look secondarily, like I said, at the historical context. So look at the author's biography, the events surrounding the work, or the social, ethical, or moral issues that were taking place during this time. So for example, under Zit Khalasa, you definitely want to look at things like the Trail of Tears and how that was affecting Native communities. So hopefully this is pretty simple. I've left this as wide open as I can so you guys can talk about the work that you liked best and the ideas within that work that you want to talk about. Make sure you keep the argument nice and focused and narrow. Don't try to cover too much, but do make sure that you have a solid argument in your thesis statement. So if you have any questions, let me know, but otherwise, best of luck on this first one.